Good morning. This is Pastor Jeff, and it is Monday, October 31st, 2022. Halloween, the last day of October. We have made it. We're here for our daily lectionary readings. We have our three readings. Psalm 50 is our psalm reading. Nehemiah chapter 13, verses 1 through 3. Then 23 through 31 for our Old Testament reading, and 1 Corinthians chapter 5 verses 9 through 13 for our New Testament reading. Let us listen in to our scriptures today. The God of gods, it's God. Speak out, shouts, earth, welcome the sun in the east. Farewells the disappearing sun in the west. From the dazzle of Zion, God blazes into view. God makes his entrance. He's not shy in his coming. Starburst of fireworks precede him. He summons heaven and earth as a jury. He's taking his people to court. Round up saints who swore on the Bible their loyalty to me. The whole cosmos attests to the fairness of his courts, that here God is judge. Are you listening, dear people? I'm getting ready to speak. Israel, I'm about to bring you to trial. This is God, your God, speaking to you. I don't find fault with your acts of worship, the frequent burnt offerings you offer, but why should I want your blue ribbon bull? Or more and more goats from your herds? Every creature in the forest is mine, the wild animals on all the mountains. I know every mountain bird by name. The scampering field mice are my friends. If I get hungry, do you think I'd tell you? All creation and its bounty are mine. Do you think I feast on venison or drink draughts of goat's blood? Spread for me a banquet of praise. Serve high God a feast of kept promises. And call for help when you're in trouble. I'll help you, and you will honor me. Next, God called up the wicked. What are you up to? Quoting my laws. Talking like we are good friends. You never answer the door when I call. You treat my words like garbage. If you find a thief, you make him your buddy. Adulterers are your friends of choice. Your mouth drools filth. Lying is a serious art form with you. You stab your own brother in the back, rip off your little sister. I kept a quiet patience while you did these things. You thought I went along with your game. I'm calling you on the carpet now, laying your wickedness out in plain sight. Time's up for playing fast and loose with me. I'm ready to pass sentence, and there's no help in sight. It's the praising life that honors me. As soon as you set foot on your way, I'll show you my salvation. The Old Testament reading comes from Nehemiah. We'll start with Nehemiah chapter 13, verses 1 through 3. Also, on that same day, there was a reading from the book of Moses in the hearing of the people. It was found written there that no Ammonite or Moabite was permitted to enter the congregation of God because they hadn't welcomed the people of Israel with food and drink. They even hired Balaam to work against them by cursing them. But our God turned the curse into a blessing. When they heard the reading of the revelation, they excluded all foreigners from Israel. We pick up in verse 23 through 31. Also, in those days, I saw Jews who had married women from Ashdod, Ammon, and Moab. Half the children couldn't even speak the language of Judah. All they knew was the language of Ashdod or some other tongue. So I took those men to task, gave them a piece of my mind, even slapped some of them and jerked them by the hair. I made them swear to God, don't marry your daughters to their sons, and don't let their daughters marry your sons, and don't you yourself marry them. Didn't Solomon, the king of Israel, sin because of women just like these? Even though there was no king quite like him, and God loved him and made him king of all Israel, foreign women were his downfall. Do you call this obedient, engaging in extensive evil, showing yourself faithless to God by marrying foreign wives? One of the sons of Joiada, the son of Eliashib, the high priest, was a son-in-law of Sanballat the Horonite. I drove him out of my presence. Remember them? Oh my God, how they defiled the priesthood and the covenant of the priest and the Levites. All in all, I cleansed them from everything foreign. I organized the orders of service for the priests and Levites so that each man knew his job. I arranged for a regular supply of altar wood at the appointed times for the first fruits. Remember me, oh my God, for good. Our New Testament reading comes from the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verses 9 through 13. I wrote you in my earlier letter that you shouldn't make yourselves at home among the sexual promiscuous. I didn't mean that you should have nothing to do with the outsiders of that sort, or with the criminals, whether blue or white color, or with spiritual phonies, for that matter. You'd have to leave the world entirely to do that. But I am saying that you shouldn't act as if everything is just fine when a friend who claims to be a Christian is promiscuous or crooked, is flipped with God or rude to friends, gets drunk or becomes greedy with predatory. You can't just go along with this, treating it as acceptable behavior. I'm not responsible for what the outsiders do, but don't we have some responsibility for those within our community of believers? God decides on the outsiders, but we need to decide when our brothers and sisters are out of line, and if necessary, clean house. And here ends our readings for the day.